So, Christmas is 38 days away. Holiday shopping season feels a little bit different this year, though, right? Ongoing inflation is forcing many families to tighten their purse strings. That's why experts are recommending shoppers prepare in advance for their finances. So to give us some advice on how to stretch our dollar this holiday season, we are joined by financial expert Brian Levy from BML Wealth Management. Hi, Brian. We are so glad you're joining us. This is a really important topic for all of us. How is this inflation affecting holiday shoppers this year? It's very different this year for so many people.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, Lynette. I think we're seeing consumers being more thoughtful about what they're doing this year with shopping. They're looking for deals. The online shopper is looking for discounts and discount codes, and they're trying to stretch that dollar. But with inflation at over 7%, ultimately, people are spending the same as last year, but their dollar just doesn't go as far.
Okay, can you talk about the best ways to save, though, buying gifts? You know, also, I feel like with the pandemic, it was so hard for so many people. You really want to do something special, and that makes it even more difficult this year. So how can we make it special for people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you make it more special by being intentional and starting early. It's going to help you if you start early because maybe you could focus in November and December, so spread it over a couple months. You want to create a spending plan, or I call it a budget, because if you create that plan, you're more likely to stick to it. But the other big area is create a list of people you need to get gifts for. Because at the end of the day, if you have a list, you're going to spend the appropriate amount of money on each person, or even consider like a gift exchange. I know for our family, the aunts and uncles are not allowed to buy gifts for each other. It's for the nieces and nephews, even though I want those gifts. And ultimately, don't forget about those extra costs, right? If you're hosting, you don't want to have a big credit card bill the following month or in January if you forgot about, wrapping costs and hosting a dinner for your family. So keep those costs in mind.
My husband and I always say we're not buying gifts for each other. Like, we always say, let's just be smart about this. For other people, not for each other. Some people also turn to credit cards. They also dip into their savings to get holiday shopping done. What's your recommendation on that?
Don't do it. Don't dip into your credit cards. That's a big no-no. Ultimately, don't even dip into your savings because that, remember, is probably most likely an emergency fund where you have 3 months of living expenses. So don't do that. Don't rely on credit. Credit cards are the worst thing you can do if you're not able to pay them off, because the average credit card debt is at over 18% interest. If you want to be rich, don't put money on a credit card. That's not something you want to do. And have a separate account. It's better to start earlier in the year where you can add money to it. And at the end of the year for the holidays, you have that money set aside. So you just want to allocate that time and money for it and just set aside that cash. Because if you're not using cash, you're probably not thinking or being intentional about it. It's like when we go to the casinos, right? You don't pay with cash, you use chips. You're more likely to overspend if you don't have that money set aside and you're not using cash.
All right, and I'm going to be intentional about your name, Brian Levy. I got it now, Brian Levy. Thank you so much from BML Wealth Management. Thank you so much for joining us. Really good advice. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to send it to Robin.